Good news is we can get to play again this week. The other good news is we're a really good football team. I mean, I think we're a great football team. But we got to go finish, and it'll all play itself out. But you're exactly right. There's nothing different for us. We control our destiny. And it wouldn't have been any different if some of those other teams hadn't lost last week. We still control our destiny. So, it is what it is in that regard. It really doesn't matter. All that matters is trying to find a way to beat Wake Forest this week. If we do that, then, we're on track to bigger and better goals.
Along those lines, Ohio State and Louisville are two teams that don't hold their own destiny. This is going to be a difficult night for the playoff committee to sort all that out. How highly should a conference championship matter when you weigh against teams like Ohio State, Louisville, who might not win one?
I think it should matter big time. Otherwise, why have them? I mean, it depends on what your record is. I mean, I think you got to look at the totality. You can't just say, well, they're 7-5 or what it would. No, they're 8-5. And they're the conference champions. Well, okay, great, but they stunk the rest of the time. I mean, you can't put an 8-5 conference champion over whatever 12 or 11-1 Ohio State or whatever that lost to a really good team somewhere. I mean, that's kind of common sense. I don't think it's really that complicated. But if it comes down and you got an 11-1 team versus a 12-1 team, and they won their conference championship and played 13 games and beat another I think that's kind of self-explanatory. It should matter. Otherwise, do away with them. But I think all that stuff works itself out. I mean, there's always all this drama and talk every year, but I thought the BCS got it right every year. And I definitely think the playoffs have gotten it right the last couple of years. I don't think there's been any question about that. But it'll all work itself out the way it's supposed to. You got to go play, man. Got to go play. A lot can happen in a week. All the stuff everybody sits around and talks about and worries about and writes about right now, you just end up ripping it all up next week. It's because it's a different story. So for us, man, we're just trying to beat Wake Forest.
Jordan Leggett mentioned yesterday that in some ways he felt like the pressure was off, all of the streaks, everything that had been going on, and maybe this team now could refocus. Have you ever seen that or been a part of that in college football where a loss maybe helps a team out? You never want to lose, but where
my whole life, just my whole life, I think that's a sexy answer after you get beat. You got to answer the question somehow. You got to come up with something that sounds good, I guess. But I don't know anything other than, I spent 13 years at Alabama. And I've been here, this is my 14th year at Clemson. So I don't know anything other than we're supposed to win. And there's pressure to win every week. And I like that type of pressure. I love that. I embrace that. Always have. I love that type of pressure because to me, there's more pressure when you're really not expected to win. To me, there's more pressure that comes with that when you're really not good enough. And you need this to happen, you need that. To me, that ain't the kind of pressure I like. I like the pressure of knowing you got a good team and, hey, you're expected to win. That's all I've ever known. And, my whole life, when we've lost, it's not good, but we've always tried to get better. And, I'll say that for our run here over the last 8 years. When we've lost games, we've responded. We've improved. We've gotten better. The world didn't come to an end. Good Lord of mercy. Was it 2 years ago? 2 years ago, we lost a regular season game down there at Georgia Tech when Deshaun got hurt. And, man, the world was over. We'll never win another game. How could you win a game of Cole Stout? Oh, no way. And all he did was get MVP of the Russell Athletic Bowl game. I'm thankful that we don't live in that world. We get to do something about it. And that's what we try to do. We just try to respond, try to respond, take action. And that's probably we've built this windshield mentality in our program. And that's what we try to live by. What's next? Okay, it matters what happened, but how do we learn from it? How do we get better? What do we got to do give ourselves a chance to win, and that's what we focus on. And the rest of it just doesn't matter. So we lost 2 years ago. Well, we came back and beat Georgia State, I think, and then we beat South Carolina, then we beat Oklahoma, and then we won 14 in a row. And then we lost in the national championship game. Well, we came back, we won 9 in a row. I know that's expected, but it's not easy. And now we lost one. So we got a chance to start a new streak. That's what we'll focus on. Try to get to 1-0 this week.
In the grand scheme of things, I guess the playoffs sort of start this week for you guys, right? Because
playoffs have been started all year. They really have. That's why everybody says, oh, we need to add 3 more layers of playoffs. I'm like, well, we played 15 games last year. How are we going to add more games? Something's got to give. We've got to get rid of something. To me, we play a playoff game every single week. Every week is a playoff game because it all matters. It truly matters. It matters had we lost to Troy the second game of the season. It all matters. And I think we got a good system, but for us, every game is a playoff. Every game is the biggest game of the year.
Coach, are you surprised a little bit just how turnovers have been an issue? Because we've talked about it at times throughout the year. It's a little caught off guard because you have so many veterans on that side of the ball.
Yeah, and it's been across the board. And that's what's allowed some of these games to be a little closer than we would like. Again, we've overcome it because defensively we've played pretty doggone consistent, even when we've had games with turnovers. The other night we didn't. We played not good, so even though you had 630 yards of offense and 42 points, you get beat, and it comes down to losing the turnover margin once again, and so it's just one of those things we got to keep swinging. We're even. My goal is to be +5 by the end of the year, and there's still a chance. We just keep playing. That's all you can do. It's not a casualness or nonchalantness or guys not having a sense of urgency. It's none of that. We've addressed it. We just have had a bunch of plays, and we've had 4 or 5 trips inside the 5 where we get no points. And where we had a chance to put people away, you let people stay in the game, and again, next thing you know, you're in a battle, and it's disappointing, but we can't do anything about it. We just go play better this week. And the other flip side of that is when we have done a good job of taking care of the ball, we have played some unbelievable football. Syracuse, Boston College, when we've done a nice job, we've been a tough team to handle, and so hopefully we can keep fighting. I've heard me say, Kobe Bryant said one time, I'll go 0 for 30 before I go 0 for 11. The next one's going in, man. The next one's going in. Just keeping the right attitude, the right mindset. You can't worry about it. You can't play in fear. Go play. If we get a fumble, if we get a turnover, well then let's try to get one back, and let's just keep responding. And in some of these games where we've had multiple turnovers, we've just been much better than the opponent, and we've been able to overcome it. And then some of these teams, we've been able to overcome it, because we got a few back. And the other night, we weren't able to do it because we said we couldn't put it all together.
Would you say the defenses have done a lot more this year than last year to try to take away the run, bringing guys up?
I think so. I think people have tried to do a good job of defending Deshaun and Wayne, but we're built differently than we were last year too. We're a different team. Last year we had 4 freshmen at wideout: Renfro, Travion, Dion, and Ray, and Mike Williams gone. We were a different type of a team than last year, and this year we've got a bunch of guys out there. And there's been a lot of one-on-ones that have gone to Mike, and this guy's gonna be a first-round draft pick. He's a great football player, and just like the other night, I told there were about 30 run calls that turned into passes and were great plays. I mean, it's one of the most unbelievable games by a quarterback outside of, a couple of plays. We're having a different conversation. It was spectacular how he managed that game. It was just unbelievable. Maybe the best throw of the night was the one Mike dropped, which was in that last drive. He played lights out, and he's taking advantage of the things that they're giving us. They're cheating people into the box. They're giving up. You're going to give Renfro space. Well, he's going to go run for 8 or 9 yards. Well, we're probably not going to be able to hand it off and get 8 or 9 yards. To me, we are running the ball well. Sometimes it's a little different presentation. And then, the other night with Deshaun and his shoulder being sore, it wasn't a game where we were going to force the issue, especially with their style of play. Because it was just catch it and throw it, go make a play. And we did that all night.
How is Adrian Baker progressing? Do you still expect him to play this year?
I don't know. Again, as I said a couple weeks ago, he practices every day. He's over on the scout team, grinding, working, and getting better. But it's on him. He's released to play, but he's just not 100% confident yet with his explosiveness in being able to go compete with the guys who are playing. We'll see.
When you have had the opportunities to run the ball, how would you critique the run blocking this year?
We've been fine. We could be better at times. The biggest thing is we want to run the ball efficiently. Last week Wayne averaged 6 point something a carry. That's kind of what we're looking for. And at times we've been really good. There's been sometimes not as good, just like every other position on the field. But our offensive line has really done a heck of a job. We've thrown the ball a lot more this year, and we're, I think, second in the league in sacks.
Sacks allowed.
Yeah, we're second in the league in sacks allowed. We haven't given up near as many sacks as we did last year, and we threw the ball less last year. And but the main thing is making sure that we are efficient. But there have been some times. There's been some times we've put them in some bad situations too, and didn't necessarily give them the best chance to be successful. So I'm proud of those guys, man. It's a good group. It's a really good group, and you got one senior. Though you're talking about a bunch of young guys that are just going to continue. It's going to be a great offensive line for several years to come.
Coach, you touched on it a little bit, but what's the difference in these last 2 losses of yours between waiting 9 months to play again and waiting 7 days?
I feel like a basketball coach. I get to play. Except they get to play in 2 days. We got to wait. A full week. But that was a painful loss in the national championship game, and that you had a great team, and that you're not going to get a chance to play again until 9 months. So you got to start over, and it's a new journey, and this week is different in that this is just a part of our journey. It's just that game is just a part of our journey. That's not the story isn't done. We got work to do, but we'll look back and it's hard to go undefeated. It really is. And if you look at the past, even Alabama last year, we both walked off the field 14-1. And when they dropped the confetti on the Tide, nobody was ever going, yeah, but you lost to Ole Miss. They were handing them the trophy. So you just keep playing. Ohio State lost to Virginia Tech team early. And, they just kept playing. Control what you control. And, when the season was over and they won the national championship, nobody's going, yeah, but you lost to Virginia. They handed them the trophy. All right? At the end of the year, when the journey is complete, you own every part of it. Then you can write the story. Then we can have new books, Larry. You can write a whole new book. You can write a whole new book, and you did a great job on that book that documented last year. You can write a whole new book, and guess what? The Pit will be a chapter of its own. And hopefully there's no more bad chapters. hopefully we can, grow from this. That's what we're trying to do. It's just all part of the journey for this team. And we'll see where we go. But our focus is just trying to go beat Wake Forest, win the division. And, Lord help us if we don't get it done, and if something happens and we get beat, well, we're 9-2. And you know what? We're going to come back and we're going to try to get 10-2. That's just what we're going to do. We're going to always set our sights on trying to finish and take care of what's directly in front of us. And right now it's Wake Forest trying to get better and try to win this thing, man. We know it's not going to be easy. It's going to be it's our 5th night game on the road. Unbelievable. That's a first. So just a part of our journey. It's just a part of our journey for this year. We embrace it all. And, when it's all said and done, we'll look back and evaluate it all.
Have we got anything else?
All right, guys. Thank you.